Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining today. I am going to do my best to keep an eye on the chat. Give me just a second while I pull that up so that I am not missing anything that people might be saying. Okay. Good. Thank you guys for being here this evening. If you are attending live, go ahead and just put in the chat, just comment where you're tuning in from. And then you can also keep tabs on questions that you might be having as we go through this short informational webinar. I am going to do my best to keep an eye on that chat as a way to answer your questions as they come up. So let me introduce myself tonight. My name is Dr. Katie McCauley. I am a chiropractor. I have been practicing for about 8 years now. I just moved to the Colorado Springs area. I have a brand new office at 1466 Garden of the Gods Road. That is in the same strip as Trinity Brewing, if you are in the area, over on the west side, about a mile west of I-25 on Garden of the Gods Road. So that is where my office is. If you are tuning in from somewhere that's not Colorado Springs, I would love to hear about where you are from, how you heard about this webinar, and then answer any questions that you might have as they come up. I'll dive into what I'm doing, why I'm doing this, and why this is important to me. So like I said, I just moved to Colorado Springs. I lived in Pagosa Springs, Colorado for 7 years. I had a wonderful practice there, beautiful area, beautiful community, but it was time for a change, and I am loving the Colorado Springs area. Calgary, Canada. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us this evening. If you are watching this as a recording, feel free to comment on whatever platform you're seeing this video, and I want to get questions answered for you guys. That is something that I feel passionate about. So again, my name is Dr. Katie McCauley. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. You can always message me. A good email is hello@highaltitudechiro.com if you need to reach out. I just want you to be able to reach me so that I can best serve you and answer questions that might come up during this little informational webinar today. So I'm super excited to have you guys here, whether you're live or watching after the fact. Today, we are going to talk about stress management. Okay, you guys, everybody in the world needs this message right now. It is no secret and no surprise that stress is taking over the world. There's a couple reasons why this is so, and we're going to dive into that. But first and foremost, I want to state that this is not something that you are dealing with alone. Everybody in the world is dealing with different levels of stress that they are not familiar with. They don't know how to deal with. They don't know why they are feeling so stressed. And it affects everybody. Something that I think sometimes we overlook is that this stress that we feel, our children also feel. And that can be our young kids, our grown kids, it doesn't matter the age that they are experiencing this, but stress is affecting everybody. And I want to give people tools and resources to understand it and to do something about it. That is something that I feel is very important. So one of the biggest reasons why
stress is such an issue today is because we live in a different world, you guys. We are going to dive into that a little bit more here in a minute, but truly and honestly, this isn't the world that our parents or grandparents grew up in. It's not the world that we learn to navigate challenges in. We are in a different world. We are in a technology era. We are in an informational era. These are things that are challenging our nervous system and we don't even notice it. So that's part of what tonight is about, recognizing it, noticing it, and then some tools about what we can do about it and why those are important. So let's, first and foremost, the purpose of this webinar is just to get more information out to you, to your loved ones, to people. I think I genuinely believe that people are doing their absolute best to deal with things that they encounter. I think people are doing their best to do the right thing, to be the best they can be, all of these things. And I think sometimes we just don't have the tools. And I've recognized that. And I said, you know what? If I can help a couple people or a whole bunch of people have better tools, have better awareness, have better information, have better resources, then my job is done. That is something that brings me a lot of joy. That's why I do this. So if you are in my Colorado Springs community, please come meet me. I would love to serve you. I would love to know you. I would love to help you. If you are anywhere else all over the world, I would love to get this information to you so that you or someone you know or care about can benefit from it in some way, shape, or form. That's why I do these webinars. That's why I'm here tonight. That's why I'll be here continuing to do these webinars so that people can just get more information. So let's dive in. First and foremost, I want to talk about why. Why are we all so stressed? This is a good one, right? Where did this all come from? Okay, so first and foremost, let's address the pace of life. The pace that we operate in a regular everyday setting is not what it once was. We have so many moving pieces. We have commitments, we have ourselves, we have our families, we have our kids, we have our neighbors, we have community involvement, we have the school that we must contribute to. We have all sorts of things on our plate. This is different than what we used to deal with on a regular basis. So let's take a mom, for instance, and this applies equally to dads or nannies or aunts and uncles, whatever. But let's say you get up in the morning, you got to get up early, you've got to take your vitamins, you have to eat a good breakfast, make a good breakfast, excuse me, for everybody else in your family. You've got to make the lunches, you got to get the kids to school, you've got to make sure all the homework was finished, you got to contribute to the PTA that afternoon. You have to go yourself into work and you have to deliver and do a good job, and you are expected to meet deadlines, and you're expected to be proficient at the job that you're doing. You then go to lunch and try to do a networking meeting where you're expected to be present and contribute to that meeting. And then you have the PTA meeting, like I said, after school. Then you've got a kid who has band practice and a kid who has a basketball game, and you've got to be in both places at once. And then your husband has a client meeting in the evening that you have to be at to seal the deal, right? And then you go home, you have to eat dinner, make dinner for your whole family. You have to make sure all the homework's done. You have to make sure everybody's clean and bathed and in bed at an appropriate time, and that you drank enough water today. Oh my gosh. Does that sound exhausting? As exhausting to you as it does to me? No wonder, you guys, we are under so much pressure. We have all these commitments, and don't get me wrong. Oh, I forgot to throw community involvement in there. You're a good person. You want to contribute to your community, so you do community service, and that's another thing. And your neighbor's in the hospital, so you want to make her family a meal. I mean, these are well-intentioned things, but we find ourselves really spread thin. Okay. So we have to be intentional about where we're using our energy, how we're using our energy, and just recognizing that nobody can do it all. I think a lot of times we compare ourselves to a generation that doesn't apply anymore. There's not one breadwinner and one person that handles everything at home, right? Like, this is a different world, and to best serve ourselves, we need to recognize that. Um, in addition to that, okay, this is a huge one, you guys, screens. Screens are not going anywhere, unfortunately, and fortunately. That's brought a lot to us. I'm talking on a screen right now as I say that. Here is the situation. We have a screen in our face from the minute we wake up until the minute we go to bed. Most of us, we get up, we look at our phone, we listen to a podcast, we scroll social media, we might work on a computer all day at work. And then we go home and we want to relax. And so we scroll on social media some more, right? This is a very standard thing that people do. But what we're not recognizing is our brain and our nervous system is constantly stimulated. So our conscious mind only picks up a fraction of what we actually see, but our brain and our nervous system is working on overtime trying to process all of that information that you're scrolling through, all the different things you see on your screen, all of that. Okay, so screens, not only are they are bright, they're stimulating, there's color, they're colorful, they're all these things. Well, now our brain has been trained to expect that. So we are craving it. It's like an addiction, and we are constantly wanting more stimulation. Okay, this is not doing our nervous system any favors. That screen interaction is very, very challenging for our nervous system to keep up with. And then we wonder, why are we so exhausted? Why am I so stressed? Why am I depressed? Because we are not managing the things that we do on a daily basis very well that supports our nervous system. So screens are a big thing. Constant stimulation. All right, another big one, I just mentioned it, is social media. Okay, we know this on a logical level, but our emotional brain and the emotional center of our beings doesn't understand it and craves more of it. Social media is can be very, very harmful to us as individuals. You guys all know this. I am not telling you anything new. We, as perusers on social media, scrollers on social media, we, whether it's conscious or subconscious, compare ourselves to other people and their highlight reel, right? We compare, how do I measure up to what they're doing? But I don't see the other, 90% of that person's day that was pure struggle, pure chaos, pure difficulty, all of those things. But they got that award, or look at what a beautiful vacation they're on. I'm not on the, I haven't gone on a vacation like that. We innately intuitive, we compare ourselves to each other, to these people, but we fail to recognize that that is not the full story. And that creates a lot of inadequate feelings on our part, right? I'm not doing good enough. I'm not measuring up. Look at how well Mary handles everything that she has to do because I saw a picture on Facebook. This is unreasonable, right? I hope it sounds silly as I say it out loud, but this is what we do. We all do this. And it creates a lot of, like I said, inadequacy that we view ourselves with. No wonder we are stressed, right? I'm not living up, I'm not doing good enough, I'm working hard, but I don't have anything to show for it. All of these things are contributing to that feeling. Now, I want you to step back for a second and think about what kids these days are going through. Now, our young kids might have some interactions in that realm also, but let's talk about our middle school aged kids, our high school aged kids. Now, I didn't grow up with social media in that way. Um, but the kids today are. So imagine kids do dumb, embarrassing things sometimes, right? So imagine you do a dumb, embarrassing thing because you're 15 years old and you don't have a fully developed prefrontal cortex, and that's what they do, right? Because this is life and you're just a kid and you're figuring it out. But the difference is you don't get the luxury today of only those two or three people who are there seeing it. Maybe they told people about it, whatever. Today, they take their video phone out and they video you, and it's on every single platform you can imagine. And you have to go face your entire school after that dumb thing you said or did yesterday. And every single person in the whole world knows about it, and they judge you for it and they comment on it and all of these things. You guys, this is something that is very serious that our kids are having to deal with. Not only do they also experience, well, Look at Sally. She's so pretty. I'm not pretty. Look at Joe. He's such a great athlete. I'm not a great athlete. They have all of that too. And they have the added pressure of everybody knows everything about them all the time. That is a very stressful situation to grow up with. So we're going to revisit that in just a minute. But all of these things are things that our nervous system has to deal with on a regular basis. So, when we take this on, when we feel the stress of life, when we take it all in like this, it wears down our systems big time. And I'm going to talk most importantly about our immune system. Dealing with stress or not properly dealing with stress is the number one reason that we get sick, that we get a cold, a cough, the flu, under the weather, all of those things. Now, last week we talked about how the germ theory doesn't quite pan out. We don't really get sick because of things in the outside world. We get sick because of how well our internal environment handles it or doesn't handle it. So when we are constantly stressed and that is wearing down our nervous system, then no wonder we get sick, right? That is a huge reason why it's super important for us to take care of ourselves, recognize stress, and deal with it appropriately. So let's talk about that. Now, first, I want you guys to be able to recognize when you're feeling stressed. And if you have no experience with it at all, then it can be kind of hard to recognize because we kind of have gotten used to it. Stress can be conscious or unconscious, subconscious. Some conscious manifestations of stress you might already be aware of. Your heart starts racing. You get an email about a deadline that you missed or something you forgot to do, and your heart starts racing and you get kind of hot and your face gets flushed and you might start sweating. Those are physical manifestations of conscious stress. There's also subconscious stress. So stress that continues to attack you, that you haven't recognized, that you haven't acknowledged. So maybe you're not sleeping well. Maybe you don't eat anymore. Maybe all you do is eat because you're just trying to avoid everything. Maybe you've had headaches for 3 months straight and you have no idea why, but you're going through the most stressful time of your life. So these are subconscious manifestations of stress. And the only reason, honestly, sometimes that leads to depression as well. The two, anxiety, depression, they go together. And I'm not going to get into a pharmaceutical conversation here, but you see, if I just mention it, you see how if I am stressed and anxious and depressed, and I take a pharmaceutical drug that's a chemical, all I'm doing is pretending that I'm not actually having nervous system dysfunction as a result of the stress that I'm dealing with on a daily basis, right? I'm putting a band-aid on it, and it's kind of like my check engine light comes on at the front of my car there, and I'm like, uh-oh, that doesn't look good. And so I take a little piece of black duct tape and I tear it and I just put it right over my check engine light and I say, oh, there we go. I'm okay now, right? I didn't do anything to fix the problem underlying that light coming on, but I put a little piece of tape over it so now I don't have to see it and I feel good about myself. So that is what we're doing with pharmaceuticals in this instance and others. But what's really going to serve us long term is understanding it, dealing with it on a deep rooted level so that we know how to do this long term. Because I got news for you guys. Unfortunately, the things that are causing us stress in our life, they're not going away. They're here to stay. So we need to do a better job of recognizing and adapting to what we're facing. Okay, so why do we need to deal with stress better? Because stress affects our nervous system. I've said that a couple times now. Our nervous system is what controls everything. Our nervous system, it controls the hormones that we produce. It tells our heart to beat and pump blood through our body. It does everything for us. It tells our lungs to breathe in and breathe out. It does everything for us, consciously or subconsciously, mostly subconscious in this conversation. But if we don't support our nervous system, it will stop working for us. And we cannot have that. It's the control center of our entire body. If we do not take care of it, our entire control center will shut down on us and say, sucks for you. You didn't listen. You didn't take care of me. You didn't support me. I'm not going to support you anymore. Now, most of our bodies are incredibly giving and they continue to serve us even when we forget to serve them back. So let's not be that. Okay, so what do we do about it? This is the reality. Sometimes we get stressed. It's real. It happens. Even when we're trying our best, sometimes it still gets to us. So, what can we do about it? Okay, so the days of tough guying it out, those are over. We can't be doing that anymore. Don't get me wrong. I'm intense. I'm a pusher. We'll talk more about that later. But it's not serving us. It is not serving our body. So it is time to start taking time for mental and emotional health and well-being. Okay. I'm speaking to the older generations from, I'm not talking about our kids today. I'm not talking about our high school kids. I'm talking about older than that, people who it's not appropriate to take time for mental health. No, those days are over. We need to be having that time. So meditate regularly. I got a story for you. A couple months ago, I was in a really stressful time, personally, a big move, business changes, all sorts of craziness happening, all for good reasons and good things, but stressful nonetheless. I mean, daily stress, running multiple businesses, and it was just like, it felt like chaos all the time. Well, I was not sleeping. I would sleep maybe 2 or 3 hours a night if I was lucky. And this was ongoing, consistent. I started meditating couple minutes every day, maybe 10 minutes every single day. I started meditating and I started sleeping again. And then I could do everything better because when you sleep, you heal. Do yoga. Start doing yoga. It's a built-in movement pattern that calms your mind and calms your nervous system. So go on walks outside, move your body, be in the fresh air, get the sunlight on your body. Those are beautiful healing gifts that we overlook every single day. And if it's a blizzard outside and you have to walk on your treadmill, at least you're moving. But otherwise, even when it's cold, even when it's a little bit windy, if you get those natural elements on your body and in your awareness and in your presence, that's going to make a huge difference for taking your mental state from here down to here. Feed your body good food, good nutrients that support your body, that help you heal, that help you recover. Yes, it does matter. Sugar is a drug. Sugar is a drug that we all really like and that tastes really good and that's pleasurable. However, it is a drug and it makes us addicted and we want more, and then we're not getting the nutrients that we need. So that's a different topic, but it's something that I want to address. Put good nutrients into your body. Drink enough water. Our bodies are mostly water. Give your body what it wants. Support it. Drink enough water. Give yourself a little bit of grace. This is a big one. It's not always got to push through, right? That's how I was raised. That's really how my personality is, but that doesn't always honor our bodies and our systems. Get enough sleep. Sleep is when we heal. It's when we recover. It's when we do all the things that we need to do to wake up the next day. It's like turning your computer freezes. It's like turning it off and turning it back on. That's sleep. We get to do that every single night. We get a fresh restart every night. Give your body the tools and sleep enough, sleep consistently, give your body that support. Okay, most importantly, get adjusted. I'm a chiropractor. I'm going to talk to you about the chiropractic adjustment. A lot of us don't know that getting adjusted, the chiropractic adjustment is not cracking my back because it's stiff. While it might help with that, what the chiropractic adjustment truly does is it affects the nervous system. That's what we've been talking about this whole time, the nervous system. It affects it takes our nervous system from up here is fight or flight. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? To I'm going to be okay. That's what the chiropractic adjustment does. By intentionally and specifically adjusting areas of the spine that are not moving properly, we allow our nervous system that opening to breathe. calm. It's so incredibly powerful. Um, Here's the thing, you guys, we are always in fight or flight. We talked about the million things we have to do, the traffic and the guy cut us off and all these things. Our nervous system does not know that we are not in immediate danger of dying. Okay. This is a primal evolutionary thing. So I used to do scans in my office and I could show a patient how stressed their nervous system was with objective measures. You could look at it and see, and people would say, I don't understand. I feel just fine. Okay, well, here's the thing. When you opened that email this morning and it was from your boss because you didn't turn in the report and your heart skipped a beat and you did all the things that we talked about, you started sweating, all of that stuff, or somebody cuts you off in traffic and they just are so nasty to you and you just, oh my gosh, or you almost get in an accident, whatever it is, all of those things, especially the email, the social media, the things on the screens, like we're talking about that we're always processing. Well, our nervous system does not know that we are not in immediate danger. Those responses, those are things that tell our body you are in immediate danger of dying. So evolutionarily, let's imagine that a lion is chasing you, hunting you through the woods. Bear with me. A lion is stalking you and hunting through the woods to try to find you and kill you and eat you. Okay. So imagine how, if a lion's coming after me and I am hiding in a tree for the night, am I going to get good sleep that night? I can't sleep. I got to sleep with one eye open. That lion's going to get me and kill me. Right. If I am physically running away, he's found me, he's on me, he's going to come get me. Well, it's not a really good time to be like digesting food and needing to go to the bathroom. Right. So maybe you're not able to go to the bathroom very well. Maybe you're not able to sleep very well. It's because your nervous system is saying, "Hey, I don't care about you going to the bathroom. I don't care about you getting a good night's sleep. I care about you staying alive long enough to live through this lion attack," right? Well, your nervous system doesn't know that reading an email and being chased by a lion aren't the same thing. So we have to support our nervous system and give our nervous system tools so that we're not up here thinking that we're going to die at any moment because the lion's going to get us, right? So this is really what happens. We've got to give our body and our nervous system tools to decompress. So, let me see. Okay, so like I said, this happens with our kids too. And they don't have a prefrontal cortex. They do, but it's not developed. They don't have communication development already happening. They don't know how to convey this to us. So they might be moody. They might be whiny. They might lash out. They might, all these things, right? It manifests a little bit differently, but that's our job to recognize and say, it's tough, isn't it? It's tough, 7-year-old. You have a tough life. Honestly, they do. They do have a tough life, and we have to give them the tools so that they can best support their nervous systems and grow healthy and stay healthy. So, um, if getting adjusted when we are feeling stressed or when we are feeling sick, if you were here last weekend, it boosts our immune function and all of that. If that is the case, that I can, I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed. That's literally what I do. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I go to my chiropractor and I get adjusted, and that calms my nervous system. So if it can do that when I'm feeling stressed, what can it do if I just stay on top of it regularly so that I don't get that stress? That's not to say there's not still going to be stressful things that happen in life, but the difference is when I'm getting adjusted regularly, when I'm eating healthy regularly, when I'm getting enough sleep and meditating and doing yoga and walking outside and getting sunlight and fresh air on my body, when I'm doing all of those things regularly, then my system, my nervous system is so strong and so healthy, and it has so much strength and it's so powerful. So it's just like brushing my teeth so that I don't get future cavities, getting adjusted, eating well, sleeping good, drinking enough water, all these things that we're talking about, those things, doing those things regularly support your nervous system. Then When you get that email from your boss, it's not, oh my God, what am I going to do? Am I going to get fired? Oh my gosh. It's, okay, what action steps might I be able to take in this situation? Our nervous systems are so much better able to support us. Sorry, I just got a notice from Zoom that I'm running out of time. So I'll wrap it up here. Our nervous systems in that supported state are so much better able to adapt to the things that are in life that are not going anywhere, that are going to continue to be in our life. We can better handle them. It's all about what's inside of us, how we are able to respond to external forces, external circumstances, and that's going to best serve us. So the name of the game, guys, is prevention. Yes, it can support you when you're already feeling stressed. Yes, it can support you when you're already feeling a little bit sick. But the better option here is to stay on top of it with all these things we've talked about, take care of ourselves, and then we're not finding ourselves in a position where we need to be up here in survival mode, in fight or flight. We can better handle the situations that we're going to encounter on a regular basis. So, that was long-winded, but we've talked about why we're all so stressed, how to recognize it, what to do about it, and how we can prevent major episodes of stress, anxiety, and that sort of thing moving onward into the future. So these things are simple, but they are not easy. It takes discipline and it takes understanding in order to best utilize the things that we've talked about today. And that's usually the best approach. I'm sorry, I don't have a magic pill or a magic wand or a magic fix, but the good news is you have all of these tools that we talked about at your fingertips. You just have to recognize and you just have to understand how to utilize them. So, that's what I have for you guys today. I'm going to give you guys just a second to type up any questions that you might have at this point, but we are running a little bit low on time, so keep that in mind. So go ahead and do that now if you have any questions. If you're watching this as a recording or on our channel or anything like that, go ahead and put your comments in and I will be monitoring those too. Otherwise, again, my name is Dr. Katie McCauley. I'm your host tonight. I am a chiropractor at High Altitude Chiropractic in Colorado Springs. If you are in the area, I'd love to meet you. I'd love to serve you. I'd love to connect with you. If you are not in the area, I am here for you to answer any questions that you might have. I'm just hoping to give you guys some tools and some insight so that you don't feel like you have to run to pharmaceuticals or something's wrong with you. No, we are all dealing with this. I just want you guys to have some resources so that you can best move forward with the stressors that are going to continue to be in our lives, right? They're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. We could all live under a rock and pretend like these are not things that are really reality, but they are. So I'm just hoping to give you some tools to operate in daily life a little healthier, a little more comfortable, and a little bit more at peace. So it is interesting. Yes. Okay. So, yeah, it is totally interesting. All of the things that we talked about today, how these things that we just don't even give a second thought to affect our bodies and our nervous systems. It's powerful, you guys. It is. And the tools that we can use are simple tools. It's not something that you have to go out and get, out and buy, out and learn. You have the tools right here at your fingertips. I just am hoping that I gave you a little bit of insight as to how to utilize them. If you guys have any other questions, remember you can always message me on social media or my email. A good, easy email to reach me is hello@highaltitudechiro.com. So if you need to connect, I am here for you. I hope you got something out of this tonight. Thank you so much for taking just a little bit of time to be here and be open-minded about what we're discussing. I will be back again next week, next Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time for another weekly wellness webinar, just for the same reason, to give you guys some insight and some tools. So if you have anything else you need for me, I'm here for you. Otherwise, please register for next week. I'd love to connect with you again and just help keep this information train going. If you think that this could help anybody that you know, anybody in your community or your family, somebody you know, somebody you love, please share with them. It could make all the difference for them and what they're going through in their life. And that's really what we're about here, is just spreading the love and spreading the information so that we can all do a little bit better tomorrow. So again, I'm Dr. Katie McCauley. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to jump off here, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.